Oh, hello there, and welcome to the final installment of Ancient Civilizations Home Edition. Um, this is, I don't know, it's very sad for me that we're not able to be face to face in this last week of regular classes. Um, this normally, if we were meeting, this would be a week for us to recap and to recollect things and to reflect on what we've learned. So it's a little bit more challenging to do this, to lead you through a reflection on what you've learned and why it matters, when I'm just recording a video and sending it to you. But let's try. As usual, all the instructions for this week that you received in an email on Monday morning will be sitting at the top of the announcements here. Since this is the fifth time we've done this, I don't feel the need to belabor that point, and instead I'm going to actually, you know what? Let's take a look at the syllabus and see where we're at. This class was meant to be a survey of world prehistory, with a focus on the way in which humans impacted and were in turn affected by their environments. I think we've done that. We've learned about humans spreading out and settling down as foragers throughout the world. We've learned and the impact that they had on their environments wherever they went. We focus specifically on the peopling of the Americas and the extinction of the Ice Age megafauna. Then we learned about the transition to agriculture in different places and the effects that had on the environment, and the way in which agriculture in turn allowed for human societies to develop in a direction towards social complexity wherever agriculture took root. Get it? Took root. And complex societies, we learned about how they have greater impacts on their environment than smaller scale societies. And we've read a variety of perspectives on the way in which those impacts on the environment may have undermined and led to the collapse of complex societies. And then we've read people who said, actually, it's more complicated than that because all the things that you've written about. So I think we have definitely achieved these learning outcomes, and you should all feel very good about it. There's no new content this week. There's not a film. Oops. That's better. What there is are the last chapters of Collapse, where Diamond presents his closing arguments about how human impact on our environment can undermine our complex society, and how we might learn lessons from past societies that have collapsed because of their impact on their environment, the ecocide thesis. How we might learn from them so as to not collapse ourselves. He is writing from a noble place, I believe. He recognizes a lot of the ecological, environmental challenges that we face, and believes that by doing archaeology, we can learn from the past to try to create a better future. You might imagine that the author writing and questioning Collapse is an historian named McNeil. He has some different perspectives on what it all means. For an outside perspective, I would absolutely recommend that you, not recommend, you would require that you read the epilogue in the Olszewski textbook. It's literally 3 pages long, and 1.5 of those pages is under the heading "All Good Things Come to an End," and Olszewski gives her brief but spectacular, I think, perspective on social change and collapse, as does Redman in his book Human Impact on Ancient Environments. Again, just 2 or 3 pages. So Diamond presents his closing arguments. McNeill presents the closing arguments and the consensus of the folks who wrote in Questioning Collapse. And then Olszewski and Redman each give a short epilogue to their books where they address some of these same themes. And the assignment for this week is I want you to think about these big ideas of the class and write about them. So in some ways, this is a review for you to recall the last 4 weeks or 5 weeks and the case studies of Rapa Nui, the classic Maya, Chaco Canyon, and the end of the Incan Empire. But I want you to do so by having read the things, the last chapter of Collapse, Questioning Collapse, the textbook, and the Redman book. And then what's the thesis that runs through Diamonds? This is purely a review question. And then in light of the critiques that I've had you read and write about each week, which of Diamond's case studies do you find provides the strongest support for his thesis? And then which is the weakest? I told you, I promised you that when we introduced the Collapse book, that I wasn't going to read anything. I wasn't going to make you read anything that would make you dumber. Some of the debates that we've encountered between Diamond and his detractors in Questioning Collapse, I think have highlighted really important differences in fact. Sometimes I think Diamond gets it wrong because he has blinders on, writing from a noble place. He has chosen some facts that were out of date, or he's presented them in such a way so as to strengthen his case, and the other authors have called him out and said, dude, your facts ain't right. In other cases, however, I think it's really just a difference in perspective between the authors. That Diamond is factually correct in his presentation, and the other authors are basically say, yeah, but the way that you package it and present it, we don't like so much. And that's what I want you to do here. Which of the case studies presents the strongest evidence for Diamond's ecocide thesis? Which is the weakest? And then finally, what's the closing argument in the Questioning Collapse book? Are they saying we can't learn anything about our contemporary environmental struggles by studying the past? That we can't learn from the past to create a better future? Are they nihilists? Are they saying that learning about the past is just sort of a pastime for the leisured, and that it doesn't have a lot of relevance? I don't think that that's what the closing argument is, but I want you to read it and figure out what it is. Again, if we were meeting face to face, we'd spend a whole class session doing this kind of stuff, and groups would debate, and it would be awesome, and that's what you get in an Albion education. And fucking virus, am I right? But we'll be back. We'll do it again. And then the last one is, what do you think? Do you think that ancient civilizations can inform our thinking about 21st century environmental challenges? Why or why not? And this is where I really want you to draw upon the readings. It is an opinion question, but I want your opinion to be well thought out and supported with facts and argumentation from the authors that we've read. And that's why I say free advice. Be sure to read Chapter 8 in Olszewski and the epilogue, or Chapter 8 in Redmond and the epilogue in Olszewski. Um, I enjoy, this is probably the assignment that I enjoy reading the most, because it's where you get to really tell me what you think about the stuff that we've read. And again, if we were face to face, I'd have a pretty good idea what the temperature of the room is. But here we are. So I'm going to look forward to reading this one. And there we are. Short and sweet Monday morning missive this week. Oh, wait a second. There's the matter of the research paper, isn't there? I am really, really impressed with the research that you have managed to do mostly on your own. There have been 3 assignments. The 4th one is due actually in 2 days. I'm recording this earlier in the week. So you've picked a topic, you've done some research, which is really good. I gave you some good suggestions on that. I read your thesis, your introductory paragraph and thesis statements, and gave you some thoughts on that. And if you do this assignment that's due that was due yesterday, then you're well on the way to writing a bang up paper. I'll give you some comments on your outline, but that was mostly an exercise in getting you moving along. The research paper itself is not due until Wednesday of next week. That's the day of the regularly scheduled final, I believe. That's Wednesday the 29th. Let me check that real quick. Make sure I got it right. There you go. And yep, Wednesday the 29th. That's going to be in about 10 days from when you 10 days from when you receive this. And unlike the regular assignments, for this one, I want you to format it properly in a word processing program and upload it as a file, as a PDF or a Word doc. And it has to have a bibliography at the end. You can do it in MLA or APA or whatever style you feel comfortable with. It should be 8 to 10 pages. That's 8 to 10 pages double spaced, reasonable size font. I'm not a bean counter so much as, if you make 3-inch margins and 18-point font, it's ridiculous. But just do like you normally do. If you address all the things that I suggest that you address in the outline assignment, I think you'll and you write 8 pages using all of the four additional sources that you found. You're going to be in great shape, and you're going to write great papers. And it's my favorite time of the semester to read those. It really is. So, with that, this pretty much concludes our anticlimactic end of the fucking COVID semester. Did I just say that? Is this going to be out there for posterity? Nah, I'll probably take it down. Anyway, I have enjoyed having you in class. I hope to see you in a future class. Even if I haven't convinced you to become an anthropology major, remember that most of the classes that we teach in anthropology and sociology satisfy modes and categories, so there's a whole lot of opportunities to take class with me or any of my colleagues as you satisfy our gen ed requirements. And as always, if you want to talk about any of this stuff or your research paper, by all means, reach out to me via email, or... And you know how you know what's coming next, right? That's right. Hit me up at the virtual office hours at 2:15 on Tuesday and Thursday. And I will see you there.